is up, guys? By now you're probably aware that I am an engineering student at Purdue, and for my dynamics project I'm going to be explaining how gimbals work and further touch on some of the additional stability that comes from lens, internal, and post-production stabilization. I'm Tristan Watkins and you're watching Triflix Tech. Gimbals are just stabilizers used to smooth out footage in camera. The price has dramatically dropped over the past few years, making them much more attainable to entry-level consumers, giving them a cheap and simple way to achieve some very cinematic results. Gimbals are powered by motors on each axis, and each axis has an IMU, or inertia measurement unit. And those measurement units measure the amount of tilt on each axis, which sends data to a controller. The controller then tells the motors how much to turn in order to reach equilibrium. Gimbals usually come in two different types, 3-axis and 2-axis gimbals. 2-axis gimbals, as the name would suggest, only have two axes. You'll have a roll and a pitch, versus 3-axis gimbals, which will have a twisting motion or a yaw. Now, the main difference between these, other than having a third axis, is going to be price. Since the 2-axis gimbal is going to be having one less motor and the controller will have one less port, it's actually a little bit cheaper, but you are losing that third form of stability, or that third axis, which can cut back and make your footage look a little less cinematic. As stated before, gimbals are becoming much more affordable, and we're starting to see them implemented in things such as GoPros and drones, to DSLRs and some pro rigs. Despite gimbals achieving some quite remarkable results, there are individuals that actually want their footage to be even more smooth. One option for this is internal stabilization, also known as sensor shifting. Now, whenever it comes to cameras, images are produced by glass or a lens taking light, focusing it, and hitting a sensor. The sensor turns that light into an image. There are IMUs inside of cameras nowadays, and the IMU measures that tilting and the shifting of the camera. It tells the sensor how to move in order to counteract that movement. In result, you attain a much more smoother shot inside of the camera itself. An additional form of stabilization is electronic lens or smart lens. And the lens has an IMU inside of it and shifts a piece of the glass in order to counteract the movement of the lens. This will also create a much smoother shot. Cool, right? Well, there's one last form of stabilization that I want to touch on today, and that is post-production or software stabilization, and this happens after the footage is shot. Now, I plan on going into further detail on a couple of softwares, but today we're going to be focusing on the one I use the most, and that is Final Cut Pro. Just drag your footage on the timeline and select Stabilize. The software will then begin to analyze the footage and find where the key movements are. It will then apply a shift in an opposing direction in order to smooth it out. You can adjust this incrementally in the settings. So there you guys go, a quick overview of how gimbals, internal, lens, and post-production stabilization work. I hope you guys found this video educational, and if you liked it, maybe hit subscribe so you never miss another episode. If you like tech filmmaking things, you should check out Indie Mogul or Linus Tech Tips. Here's one of my videos, and until next time, enjoy.